Bloomberg Audio Studios.
Podcasts, radio, news.
You're listening to Bloomberg Businessweek with Massar and Tim Stenovec on Bloomberg Radio.
Who takes every kind of people to make what life's about, yeah.
Well, as you know, Juneteenth is coming up on the 19th of the month. The day is now a federal holiday as of 2021, but as early as 1866, freed African Americans in Texas held a celebration on the date to commemorate the end of slavery.
Well, all this month, Bloomberg Businessweek will feature voices on topics related to equality. And lucky for us today, we have with us is Kevin Cohee. He's chairman and CEO of OneUnited Bank. It is the nation's largest black-owned bank. It's got assets of more than $650 million in assets. An interesting story in terms of where it began and where it is today. First of all, Kevin, great to have you here with Tim and myself. Well, it's great to have you here. We want to talk about Juneteenth in a moment, but you know, it is so great to always have a business leader, and certainly one in the financial sector, because you guys have a great vantage point on kind of what is going on in this world. And especially since you're in LA, you're in Boston, you're in several major cities, you are a major digital platform. How would you describe like the business environment right now? Or the environment for consumers?
I think there's never been a greater opportunity than exists today. Technology has created an unprecedented opportunity for all of us to grow and prosper. So it's never been as good as it is now, and we all ought to take advantage of it now because it's a unique inflection point in our society.
Are you seeing that growth and prosperity and optimism reflected in deposits at the bank?
Absolutely. The bank, look, in addition to having essentially all of Black America, whether you're talking about the religious leaders, the political leaders, the celebrity class, we have the people themselves, and we also have corporate America. We have the Googles, the PayPals, the Netflix, the JP Morgans, the Citibanks, the Pfizers, the Modernas, the Disneys. What those companies all have in common is they're customers of OneUnited Bank. And so that's an example of the opportunity that exists today that never existed before.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at is the idea that, you know, each and every quarter we look forward to hearing from big banks because oftentimes those executives will comment on what they're seeing with debit card use, what they're seeing in terms of balances in the account. Bank of America is certainly known for doing that because they have such a widespread view of the consumer. What's the data that you can share with us about what you're seeing in accounts, what you're seeing when it comes to debit card use, balances being higher post-COVID, lower post-COVID? Like, what's the story of the U.S. right now?
Of the U.S. or from a Black American's perspective?
Yeah,
okay, I believe from either perspective. Yeah. Okay, once again, there's never been the economic opportunity that exists today. Take one thing, artificial intelligence. That's going to change. That's going to change the world as we know it. It's going to change how businesses operate, create new opportunities for businesses that we never have had before. I believe sitting around worrying about small things that always exist. If you've been around at all, you've seen economic cycles with interest rates up, interest rates down. Look, okay, those are just small things that need to be managed. But what you can't do is lose sight of where we are and the gigantic core opportunity that we face as a country. Come on, we have artificial intelligence, okay?
Well, because you have guys have rolled out AI tools and so on and so forth to help certainly your client base, and I get it in terms of the ability. I guess what we're trying to, we are so privileged here to sit here and have leaders like yourself come in, and I guess we always try to figure out when we are in environments where, and we're going to go back to something like interest rates. Like last year, we thought there were going to be a ton of cuts, and then we've kind of totally rethought our thinking around that, and what are the implications for investment decisions, what it costs to buy a home. We keep talking about the American dream for so many Americans being not available because it's so expensive. So I guess you seem like you would be an optimistic person a lot, but you're optimistic. So is there any, are all American consumers that you guys have a vantage point on and businesses doing really well?
Yes, you have low unemployment just as a starting point. things like buying homes. There's the affordability issue, but access to capital is at a all-time high.
Interesting.
I see in terms of looking at certainly Black-owned financial institutions, they've never been more prosperous. They never had so much capital. They've never had so much opportunity. They've never had the kind of opportunity we have to partner with corporate America. I got like J.P. Morgan is my partner. Okay, they just think about the implications of that, of having a company of that magnitude who's focused and really seriously from Jamie Dimon. I came here to meet with Jamie Dimon, who actually will sit down with you and talk about how you're doing and what kind of things the JP Morgan can do to help you as a company to grow and prosper. We've never had that kind of opportunity. This post-technology driven, post-George Floyd environment.
It's dramatically different.
Dramatically.
Why do you think people are so pessimistic then? And we've talked about this on the program lately, but there was a Harris poll a few weeks ago that they teamed up with The Guardian, and they found that nearly 3 in 5 Americans believe the U.S. is in an economic recession, even though we're not. 49% believe the S&P 500 is down for the year.
It's not.
Even though it's up more than 10%. You are optimistic. You are feeling prosperous. You say your customers are too. What are people getting wrong here?
I think it's just part of the human condition is want to talk about your challenges you face. I couldn't say it any better than you just said it, okay? If you look at the actual facts, okay, I'm talking about what's actually happening.
Yeah.
And so if you look at where we are from a factual standpoint, it's clear that we've never had this opportunity that we have today. And I think the most important thing is for everyone to get focused on what's important, to take advantage of what's in front of you now, the opportunities that technology has brought to us to be able to deliver products on a worldwide basis. Okay, OneUnited Bank is in a position where our products now, people are saying, have worldwide implications.
Yeah.
Now think about that when a company from an urban community that can create a product that not only has national implications but has worldwide implications. We're in a position to create technology that allows you to not only participate in local economies but regional, national, and international opportunities. We never had this before.
Yeah, it's a game changer. It's dramatically
absolute
different.
Game changer.
I feel like I want to go back for a second because whenever we bring up Jamie Dimon or whenever he's in a story or makes comments, it's always among our most read stories. So you talk about conversations with Jamie and meeting with Jamie. What is it that you like to talk to him about, and like how you even continue kind of the work that you guys are already doing?
He's a financial genius. Okay, that's in a position and cares about people and certainly cares about MDIs, what they call minority depository institution, and is willing to use his organization to support the growth and prosperity of this critical component of society. I mean, nobody's been doing that. I've been doing this long enough that I've seen what is real and what's not real in terms of corporate America's willingness to support the growth of other companies. It's never been higher than it is today.
Is Jamie Dimon the exception, or are you seeing it much more across companies in the financial industry?
Honestly, he's just the best. They are the best program, but they're not it's not the only program.
Yeah.
Citibank's program is a beast. Okay, that's another Jane Fraser and what she's done with that company and the opportunities they create for MDIs is unprecedented. Taking the time to bring their top people together with MDIs so we can learn from them and understand what kind of products and services that you can offer that we've never been offered before. Mm-hmm. They care about what's going on and are devoting the resources of their organizations to helping develop minority communities. You have those large corporations actually caring about what's happening in the minority communities across the country.
We have 30 seconds left, and then we're going to do some news, and we're going to come back with you for some more. But just explain to listeners and viewers right now who might think that, wait a second, wouldn't OneUnited be a competitor to JP Morgan or to Citi? 30 seconds, explain why not.
We have different products that we serve. OneUnited Bank deals with people we deal with people problems. You're driving to work. Your truck's broke. It's going to cost $600. You don't have $600. You need to borrow. You need an emergency, small balance, short-term loan in order to solve your problem. That's a OneUnited Bank product. You can't get a checking account because there's some problem that occurred in your youth. That's a OneUnited Bank product. We have different products and serve different types of customers.
Kevin, we're going to come back with you in just a few minutes. It's Kevin Cohee, Chairman and CEO of OneUnited Bank. I want to get right back to our interview with Kevin Cohee, Chairman and CEO of OneUnited Bank. It's the nation's largest Black-owned bank. It's got assets of more than $650 million. We're going to get to Juneteenth in just a minute, but I just want you to explain the asset light or the branch light model approach to banking, because I think people would be familiar with, you have some branches in some states, but you also have a huge digital presence, and that's mostly where the growth is.
Massive, actually,
Massive,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, okay, we're in a world where now the way people expect to receive their financial services, they expect it to be with them at all times. That those things, those cell phones things, people are expecting to have access to banking services 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and to be able to spend money all around the world. They're not going to drive down the street and around the block and stand in line no matter how good your donuts are. So one is just pure convenience. So we're shifting from this community banking model where you had these branches and people would go in them and know the tellers and all that to this technology driven model where their expectations are much higher. In the two ways, the convenience of getting access to the services, but also the products in themselves. You're talking, banks are moving from an environment where you had what they call utilitarian products. That's what a checking or a savings account is. It allows you to perform some kind of function. But when you look at products like Wise One, technology-driven products, they actually help you to make money. You understand the difference? Something that facilitates you spending money versus something that's actually giving you information that's going to make you more money. So this is a whole new generation of banking products that service unique needs that are outside the banking system. Here again, banks, I've never been nothing but a banker my whole life, so it's within that context. But banks serve very different needs. Okay, a bank is a corporation that exists to make as much money as it can. Now, however, where that leaves this whole area of the problems and challenges people have, and what people's needs are. And technology allows you to create products to service the people's needs.
What would you say, though, the importance of, we've kind of really increasingly gotten away from the community bank that understands the community, right? Because a banker from up high might not understand a community and its needs specifically, and something that from up high might look like a risk. If you understand the community, you would say, not so much. So do we lose something, though?
Well, that's the beauty of technology.
You say no, we don't?
It's not even close. Okay, what data can do, what actual data can do, as opposed to what you might think, what your hunches and intuition that you have about things. The world is advanced from that. Like, I think I understand the need of this person to being able to actually understand the needs.
You would say the data would be more inclusive.
I'm saying the data is more important, that we shouldn't rely on hunches and intuition in making decisions. That's what creates a lot of the problems. That's where biases come. That's where bias come from, because people think they understand things that they actually don't understand. If you think you understand it, the data will tell you the real answer. And so once again, as an advancement in our ability to make decisions, for OneUnited, that's one of the big things we do. We rely on the actual data related to an individual to make the determination of whether we can issue credit about them or not some intuition about what we think about some broad-based community.
That doesn't include a credit score, or it does include a credit score?
Not in our case. We use much deeper information than credit scores. Credit scores is once again, it's dated technology.
Yeah.
I hate to put it like that, but you have their credit models that you can use. The companies like us use that allow you to be able to evaluate people that aren't in your immediate physical proximity. That you can do business with people on a nationwide basis, because you have the foundation for being able to understand that individual and their performance quickly. And to be able to issue credit, as an example, on a nationwide basis, as opposed to only being around the corner because you think you know how a particular group performs.
That's an interesting way of thinking of it, because we've talked so much about the biasness in data. So it's interesting to hear you say that it's a better, potentially a better take at it. We've got about 3 minutes left, and we have had a great conversation off air with you of talking about Juneteenth, the day, as you said, we're coming up on our second year or so, right? Third year of recognizing it. But the point is that a lot of people don't even know what it's still about.
Exactly. That's the most important thing, is to realize Juneteenth is a federal holiday. It's not a black people holiday. It's a celebration for it's celebrating one of the best decisions that America ever made, which was to free the slaves. That helps all of us to move forward. It gives us a massive social dividend, if you will, because slavery, an institution like that, hurts both the person who is a slave, but it also equally hurts the person who's enslaving the person. Nobody wants to live in a world where people are being cold-blooded and brutal towards other people. You can't have any position of leadership acting in that way. So that decision, that single decision to free the slaves, is yielding this massive social benefit, and it yields this massive economic benefit. Let's not forget, to end slavery, half our country had slavery as the backbone of its economy. Yeah. We had to recognize that we could get rid of that and create more economic value by getting rid of this institution that was so important at that time. And that's where we are. Of course, we've been slowed down because we went from slavery to Jim Crow. Mm-hmm. But now as we move away from Jim Crow and work on solving the last big piece of this, which is financial literacy, because if you look at what's happened to our society, we now bifurcate. Our society used to be bifurcated based on things like race and religion and that kind of stuff that we grew up with. It's now bifurcated based on the haves are the people who are financially literate, right, and the have-nots are the people who don't. Agreed. So we have to work on this issue of making sure that all of our society is financially literate. Here again, let's not forget, we live in a society that forgot to teach financial literacy. So Kate,
so we only have about 40 seconds left here. We've talked about financial literacy. I feel like I've been doing this a long time. Tim's been doing this forever. How do we do it? How do we do it? And forgive us because we only have about 40 seconds.
Make financial literacy a mandatory requirement to graduate from high school. Just start with that. You have to take a significant course of study in order to graduate from high school, period. And what's so important about that is your whole life, with all due respect, you're going to solve very few chemistry problems, very few biology problems. For me. But you're going to be solving financial problems every single day. So that's the bare minimum we could do, is make it a mandatory requirement, and we have to get the corporations involved because we have to teach the teachers in order to be able to fulfill that mandate.
Amen. We're in. We totally agree. Come back again. We would love.
Please have me back. I would love the opportunity. I enjoyed hanging out with you guys.
We enjoyed having you hang with us. Kevin Cohee, Chairman and CEO of OneUnited Bank, right here on Bloomberg.